Okay, so we're looking at a beef pot roast. I'm gonna make this thing and try and get it done in 10 minutes. All right, now here we go with our ingredients. We've got our beef. We're gonna salt that, salt and pepper it. There's some root vegetables, including the turnip. I wanna show about this bit here. Cut that off with a knife. We'll show you that in a minute. Sun-dried tomatoes, some herbs, garlic, onions. I'm gonna use a tiny bit of curry, salt, a little bit of red wine, Worcestershire. My mortar and pestle is for my super cool pink pepper. Okay, so pan's hot. I'm just gonna set you guys up here and hopefully you can see what's going on. Okay, first of all, we need some oil. So in goes some oil, right? So it's hot, but we're gonna heat that up a little bit more, and then I'm thinking maybe you can watch me salt this roast. I've got sea salt here. So I kind of just want to dry it off, right? Roll it over, dry it off. My oil's warming up. Very good, right? Very good. I have some cayenne pepper, not very much. Okay, that's going good there. So we want half of this onion. So just cut that guy up, always against the grain, like that, nice and thin. Lets all of the oils come out from the grains into our now ready oil. So get some salt in that oil. Okay, we got our salt in the oil. Onions are going in. Here, that might be a bit better for you. The wooden spoon, the almighty wooden spoon. So what we want to do is we want to season the pan. We want to season these onions, and we're going to use Worcestershire sauce for that. So they're sizzling away. I'm just cutting up those mushrooms. I'm using shiitake mushrooms today. They're cheap, they're light, they're delicious, they work great for a pot roast, so we're using those. Very good. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of this Worcestershire sauce in there, get it on the onions, and then I want to deglaze with a little red wine as soon as they start to caramelize. As soon as they start to stick to the pan. Okay, that looks beautiful. Now again, over here with the turnip. Do not use a potato peeler when you're doing your turnip. You want to cut that stuff off. I hope you can see that, but there we go. Any of that husk or that rind is terrible, so you don't want that involved in your food. Now what I do is when I'm prepping over there, I also get my stuff done over here. So my onions are starting to caramelize a little bit in the pan. They're doing very nice, and our turnips are ready. My potatoes are going to go in as is. They're nice little rose potatoes. They're great. Okay, the carrot's ready. Let's go back to the onions. Check those guys out. They're looking good. Now I want heels, that sticky, gooey stuff on the bottom of the pan. Now, I always add garlic there as well, and I always do it after my onions go in. I try to keep it about a minute. I don't know if it was a minute just now, but you know, they look great, right? You don't want to put the garlic in too soon because it burns. It tastes terrible. You don't want anything burnt in here. We want it roasted. Roasted is the flavor we're going for. Yeah, that looks just beautiful. The onions are starting to go translucent and get brown on the corners, and not just from the Worcestershire sauce. They're starting to stick to the pan. I'm going to take just a little shot of red wine. Lets you know your pan temperature. Like that to me is a little hot. I mean, it's not crazy hot, it's not jumping out of the pan, but hotter than normal. And I've got the oven just at medium. Okay, those look beautiful. My next step is going to be to sear the roast in the pan. So I want to take my roast and stick it in the pan and kind of burn it or brown it on all sides and get that going. So for that, we turn the heat up. The meat is salted, it's peppered, it's ready to go. Onions are looking good, pan's seasoned, it's nice and hot again, and so in goes the beef. Now I turn the pan right up for this, and keep the pan cool with the beef. Just move it around in there, right? Beautiful. Cooking temperature is very important. You want to maintain a consistent temperature. Now when you add big ingredients like this beef, it's going to cool the pan down quickly and dramatically, so you have to bump the heat up. If you're just caramelizing onions, the heat doesn't need to be nearly as high because the pan just heats up super fast, right? Pretty straightforward. Okay, so that is doing great. Let's go over here. Okay, make sure that's out of the way. I've got that camera sitting on a piece of paper so it doesn't make a whole bunch of noise. Alright, so we've got mushrooms. We've got turnip. We've got potato. I'm going to cut up our carrots. I'm just going to do medallions. Very easy. I want the flavor from these different vegetables, right? They are going to roast in this pot for about 4 hours. They'll be gorgeous. And the meat that I used is an oven roast. I usually, to be honest, I buy the cheapest cut of meat that I can find, and I cook it for as long as I possibly can. The longer the better. I accidentally did a 10-hour pot roast once in my life a long time ago, and it came out beautiful. Probably spent all the money I saved on the cut. Spent it on electricity though.